I'm very, very curious to listen what Fabian has to say, because he has a very interesting story about stories, a very interesting story about how today we are not actually taking too many risks, how tough it is to live or not safe, how many questions do we have that have a clear answer, yes or no. So why are we saying so often maybe? Why is that? How can we be more sure? How can we be free and have everything and enjoy all the options, and at the same time being so concerned about not fucking it up?
Okay. The answer is 42.
Yes.
No. Okay. I recently met a friend, and he was like, by chance, on the street, and he was like, when do we meet again? And I was, okay, Sunday, I'm free. And he was like, yeah, I'm free as well. And what then not happened was, okay, Sunday, 6 p.m. at Marienplatz. He was like, okay, we'll meet at Sunday, but we'll write again when we'll meet. So who knows that? We don't actually commit to something, but say, okay, let's write again. Another example, somebody's inviting you to their party, you see it at Facebook, and then you meet that person, and the person is like, do you come to my party? And you know you don't want to go to that party, but you don't say it. You say, okay, maybe, I'm not sure, because maybe I have something else. Who knows that? So, who of us, is born between 1985 and 2000? Okay, we are the people who are called the millennials. The term is not exactly with the dates, but let's say that.
We'll stay in the room also, the other ones.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Please, because this is the thing. It's not about us millennials. In German it's called Zeitgeist. Everybody knows the term Zeitgeist? Yeah.
It's an English term too.
Yeah, but it's a German. Yes, yeah,
it's philosophical.
It's like Bratwurst or kindergarten. Yeah. So I call it the age of maybe. And I think everything is getting uncertain more and more. Back in the days, it was like boy loves girl, and was father and mother and child. Nowadays, it's boy loves boy, or girl loves girl, or boy loves multiple boys, or love whoever you want. It's mother and child, or not. So lots of the things we do are getting uncertain. Back in the day, we listened to Love Me Do by the Beatles. Nowadays, we listen to Call Me Maybe. So we have this, everything is not certain anymore. And I think there are 3 reasons for that. The first one is the possibilities we have now. Who was here at the last talk, at the last table? And Lavinia said, we are the first generation, especially in Romania, to go wherever we want. And these possibilities are all over the world. So we in Germany, we were quite lucky with that, but still we can study more than ever, we can go wherever we want, we can do whatever we want, we have more possibilities. At the same time, everything is getting more and more uncertain. The things I said before, the boy meets girl thing and the religion thing, almost any tradition we had like weakened and broke up. And this is good in any sense, because people who don't feel like they are in the right body, or people who want to love people of the same sex, or people who want to just be as they want to be, I feel that we are in times that they have the chance to be like this. This is good, but in the same time, this uncertainty, this nothing is certain anymore, kickstarts this non-commitment. And the third thing is, failure is not an option anymore. I don't know about in Romanian, but in Germany, it's more and more temporary work. The probation time on your work is getting longer and longer. So when you do a mistake in your job, the possibility to get fired is higher because people or companies, they reserve the right to fire you. And in Germany, there's something called BAföG. The German of you guys of you know it. It's a program to fund, to enable everyone to study in Germany. But if you change your study subject more than 2 times, the government will not fund you anymore because they say, okay, you are not certain what you want to do, so we don't give you money for that. So you just can't change your subject of study more than 2 times in Germany. So failure is not an option anymore. What is my problem with that? When everything is going maybe and I think. The problem with that is that we are at the tipping point of not only the uncertainties are uncertain, but the certainties are getting uncertain. Especially here in Romania, we were coming by with our camper. We just started 1 week ago in Stuttgart and came here yesterday. Speed limit in Romania is more an advice and not really a speed limit. I felt like the only one on the street driving the number displaying on the street sign. In Germany, it's the same. Not as not as big as in Romania, but it is the same. Who of you ever ordered something online? Okay, and who of you ever sent back something you bought on your online? Okay, it's still a large number. The thing is, what I try to say is, we buy stuff, but we don't really buy stuff because we know we can send it back. In Germany, the 3 biggest online merchandisers are Amazon, Otto, and Zalando. And Zalando and Amazon, they don't give away their numbers, but Otto, it's the second biggest online merchandiser. They have the resending rate of 50%. So half of the stuff ordered at Otto is being sent back. So half of the people are buying stuff which they are not buying. And even things as marriage. In Germany, half of the marriages are being divorced. In Romania, it's 1/3.
Like 30%, yes.
Yeah.
We even got recently some enterprises that take care of this divorce management process. And it's not for all those, I'm sorry, which is for whom it's not funny experience. They have even a site, divorcejourney.ro. They are starting a vlog telling about how all the procedures should go. So it's actually a complete package of management of these things with psychological services, with juridical services, law, and so on and so forth. So it's not even a trend, it's a business now, as all trends are in the end.
So what I'm saying is
that marriage is not...
Yeah, not only marriage, but these examples make my statement of we are living in a world where certain things are not certain anymore. And what do we base our country, our culture, our living on if there's nothing certain anymore? So my 3 things to live by, and I call it German Direktheit. 3 advices to correct the course of non-commitment are be clear. Do you say maybe because you want to say maybe, or do you say maybe because you need some time to think what you really want to say? And do you say, I guess, because you want to say, I guess, or do you want to say, it is like that, but I'm not bold enough to say it is like that, so I say, I guess, because if I make a mistake, I can say, I just guessed it, I didn't say it really. So be clear about your language. The second thing is, be there. Sometimes it's not really polite, but be direct. If you don't want to go to the movie, just say, I don't want to go to the movie. If you don't like that cloth your friend buys, be the good friend and say, I don't really like this, what you buy. And the third thing is, dare to fail. Because we are living in a world where nothing is uncertain. But, and everybody can tell you this, a project, and everything is a project in this case, like, for example, my commitment to my girlfriend, if I'm saying, okay, let's be honest, nobody of us knows if we are together 3 years from now, so don't commit too much to this, it won't work. But if you try to do things, really do things, you must commit to things, and you will fail one day or another. And this is okay, because back in the day, in Germany, there's a saying, it's called Fehler machen und daraus lernen heißt Erfahrung. Making mistakes and learn from it is making experience. And I think we have to come back to that, to make an experience, to have the freedom to fail, to stand up again and do things again. And I think these three things, be clear, be bold, and dare to fail, will help us as humanity and as humans to be committed in a time where commitment is really rare.
We already have
Okay.
questions. I was having some questions also.
C'est décidé qu'on.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, so the fact is that we have so many options, so we cannot commit, as you say,
Yeah.
because we think maybe in
There's
the next
something-
minute something better will appear. So
Or that the option is wrong. And
yes,
we don't see
yes, we
it yet.
don't
Yeah.
know. So it's not that we are not sincere, but we don't know what will happen next, and we want to have the best. Let's say to probably that is the point of our society.
Yeah, it is. You're totally right. Yeah.
Also with the relationship, I saw that if you don't want to compromise or to do something that I want, there are
I just swipe to the left.
exactly
And,
there are
yeah.
another. Yes, we can choose. So this is a problem, or this is the reality nowadays.
It is, but what does it mean in terms of relationships, in terms of commitment to
Correct.
anything? So yeah, that's the problem.
Correct.
I mean,
But it is
yeah.
a problem. Yeah.
It is, I think, as well. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
I want to make sure that I didn't misunderstood you, because
Yeah.
you said that because people are loving people from the same sex, or women and men are not the only one who getting married, makes things uncertain. What do you mean with it?
I mean that, and I have to stress that it's totally positive that it's possible nowadays, at least in some countries. For people like my grandfather, who worked 40 years in the same job, he has like a certificate on the wall saying 40 years at Daimler. It was totally clear that if you look like a boy, first of all you are a boy, and second of all you have to love a girl. There is nothing else. In his mindset, there is nothing else, and it's so cool to live in a world where this is breaking up, and people can love whoever and whatever they want. But it's making us as a society uncertain how to approach people, because if I'm really about words, I'm really about stories. So in Germany, there's the problem with the articles. So if I say in English an actor, it's not said if it's a woman or a man. In German, you have the distinguishing within the word. So I try to have a fair language to include everybody and everything. So when I meet people, I don't really know am I talking to a girl because she just the person looks like a girl or not? So if I'm trying to really include everybody and everything, I just cannot say, okay, you look like a girl, you must be a girl, so I do say she. And this is what I mean by everything is getting uncertain, because I cannot suppose anything. And this is, first of all, it's very, very good. But in terms of non-commitment and uncertainty, it's making the thing bigger.
Oh my God, how many questions do we have?
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to make sure, because I was a bit confused by the word uncertain, because I think it's something we should be happy about, that we don't have to think binary anymore. So
totally, yeah. I'm really happy about it.
And it's kind of wording that conservative people use to, defame these people.
Okay, then I'm sorry for that. That was not.
So uncertainty, actually, just to clear the air, is about being free, which is great, and at the same time having the burden of continuously identifying and defining yourself, because nowadays even gender is a construct, and people can actually, we are a construct. We can be whoever we want to be, and that's gorgeous, exceptionally.
It is.
That's amazing. And finally, humanity can be whatever she wants to be. But in the same time, it's a continuous struggle to negotiate yourself with yourself and with others.
And with others, yeah. And that's and
which is remarkably.
But that's not captured in the word uncertainty.
Uncertainty that not captures enough.
So uncertainty is a word that has a clear meaning that produces uncertainty in some people, in a lot of people.
Okay, so maybe so blame me for my bad English, and maybe the word.
Maybe you say it in German also.
The word uncertainty is the wrong translation.
Maybe.
It depends on what you say, but like what you just described, this is what's breaking up. That we have this like fluidity in many aspects of diversity in the world today, which is great and confusing, which can produce uncertainty. No, because when I hear the word language is used, right?
Yeah.
It's clear that like the word uncertainty means exactly a very certain thing, actually, that can be experienced in the context of a situation like this particular context we were just talking about. Because that's just
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, basically, maybe you just translated the wrong word. It's all possible for everybody, but wouldn't you we could say diversity about being whatever we want to be, being a girl, be a boy, love whoever we want and everything. But wouldn't we have to break up and can break up the uncertainty about not knowing who the other person is, what the other person likes, about being direct about it? Like,
but you
have a girlfriend, right? And you love your girlfriend as the woman. So I don't have any uncertainty about what you like, what you are. So that would be the way.
And
that would be staying true and being faithful. And maybe I would fail if I would ask you directly and you come back with that's none of your business. But that's the way.
That's the thing. You have to ask everybody before you can talk about or with somebody, or everybody would like have like a, hi, my name is Fabian, and I want to be directed as he, and I am a heterosexual cis man. In the best case, everybody would have something like this, or even better, nobody needs something like this, because we are in a world with a language where everybody and everything is included.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but or maybe it's only my way because I think about it differently and more free and everything. Because, but I wouldn't say it's uncertain about, because maybe it's my thing, because I think it's none of my business to know what the other person is like, orientated, what the other person likes. But if I would like to know, I'm the way I would like to ask. I really would like just ask, maybe not for the first sentence, hey, what do you like? But maybe after some time, if I'm not able to figure it out, if the person wouldn't tell me or anything. But I don't think it's a way of being uncertain about our surrounding and being uncertain about how we would approach other people, because the easiest way for me, as I see it, would be like going up there and saying, hello, I am. So I'm not sure if it really has to be in the society to know about others' orientation or everything, but there are other topics who are, in my opinion, more important to like know about or anything, but I'm not sure if that's like the way society should think, or being uncertain about or anything. So
Totally agree.
Hi. Could you just, so I can ask my question correctly, rephrase the 3 principles you mentioned? You
Rephrase.
said, yeah, you said let's be clear, or let's be clear, and then what were the others?
Be bold.
Yeah, in terms of
be brave to say the truth.
Yeah.
Even if it's sometimes not polite.
Yeah.
If people would say that's rude, saying that.
Yeah.
Because we're used to say, maybe I come, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Instead of, I really don't want to see the movie, or I don't really want to go to that party.
Yeah.
So to speak your mind, actually?
Yeah.
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 And then this third one, it doesn't need to be...
Dare to fail.
To fail.
Yeah.
I feel that all of these principles, or I'm just calling them principles now, those people being like that, following these principles, are exactly why we are in the situation you criticize. Like, you're not criticizing all of it, but like part of it, as far as I understood, because people are speaking up. People are. I'm neither male nor female. I'm somewhere in between. This is my truth. And all the traditions you mentioned in terms of marriage and boy loves girl and girl loves boy, I feel for many people living 1 century ago, living 30 years ago, that was the only way of survival in many countries. So I find this whole discussion kind of contradictory, because I know what you mean, but I think this is the outcome of what happens when people speak the truth, when people are bold. So I'm kind of confused how you, because I'm a little bit with Lisa that I didn't quite get the example, because people used to stick to marriages because this was the only way of surviving. In many countries it still is. This was and then so people knew, okay, I think you all get my point. I stopped talking now. But I was just wondering, how do you combine these 2 things? Because for me, I feel like, I didn't get your point, because I find it to be contradictory.
Okay, now I have to ask, which 2 points?
So saying on the one hand, that we aren't following traditions anymore and everything gets more and more uncertain.
Yeah.
And on the other hand saying, but we have to be truthful and we have to be bold. Because I find that being truthful and being bold leads to breaking up with traditions.
Yeah, totally. It does. It's exactly that. It's this.
It's in principles to be committed.
Yeah, exactly that. It's exactly what you're saying.
But I still don't get it then.
Okay, the thing is now. So.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit older than you. From what you said about tradition, he didn't want to say it in a wrong conservative form. I think more that we lost some traditions. It doesn't mean it's good or bad, but somehow he means when we say no, it's about we can build our personal traditions. Each human being, like habits, and this. Do you understand?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah?
I'm curious
So,
about the outcome.
Because we don't keep our grandparents' traditions, our society traditions maybe anymore, our family tradition, parents and so, but we start to build our own habits and traditions with our friends. Nowadays, for example, our friends are our family. I think this is what I understand from what
No, I think I understand better what she wanted to say.
Okay, who understands better what she
She
wanted to
wanted
say?
to
We have
say-
someone here who wants to talk, please.
Just 1 minute.
You had it.
Yes.
I'm gonna take you the microphone. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna take the microphone and be a moderator. Please, guys, we have a debate here. Please. Hello. Good evening.
Right, so before I follow the train, there's some things I want to
Yes.
address. First of all, the idea that uncertainty has a clear definition, that I have to say
Great,
that's no,
thank
it's
you.
wrong.
Thank
I have
you.
to say uncertainty
It's
you can't
uncertain.
define. And by the way, any word you can't define, and arguing in definitions is stupid because we can go way down that rabbit hole and never come out. Because I can put any definition myself into any word, and that's completely fine. But we might might not share that definition. And I think especially in these kinds of terms like uncertainty, that can have a very, very, very different meaning because they're very nuanced terms. They're not like, say, a table. No, after. You can respond after. Anyway. And this is a well-known problem in philosophy, by the way. But,
Yes, thank you.
But so instead of arguing about the definition, and by the way, I think that Mr. Neidhardt, or can I call you Fabian?
Yeah, sure.
That Fabian actually did a really good job of just beyond the term explaining what he means. So we can just use uncertainty because he has defined it for like the context of this debate.
Then repeat it. What did you
So
say?
maybe we can
No,
just clarify, please. So Fabian, can we maybe define the uncertainties, the lack of taking orientations and be whoever, you can go everywhere? Because he also gave other examples, if you remember.
Yeah.
He said about not
This
being
is-
able to study whatever you want.
Yes.
For
yes.
me, I have a daughter and I'm living this uncertainty every day because she can be whatever she wants to be. And now a makeup artist and a fashion designer and the architect at the same time. So it's about having so many options. This is uncertainty, about the state of having all the options. This is how you define it. Just maybe it's a simple
the
definition.
way I understood it.
Or you understood.
Yeah, go.
The
for
way
it.
I understood it is that the uncertainty here is the unwillingness to commit in the sense you have all the options, you see them and you are unwilling or unable to pick and choose, but like definitely, because you go in one direction, but you're like,
Maybe it's a better one.
I could, maybe I could, maybe this is what I'm doing.
But
I
maybe
could
not.
do something
yeah.
different. This is what I'm understanding.
Okay.
Is that
yeah,
like
the thing is, plus, and this is directing to you. Let's take another example. Let's take the example. People were used to. The men are going to work. The women are staying at home, or people are used to staying at one job 40 years. And now in this time, all of us, nobody of us will work at the same job for 40 years. I can guarantee you that. And that's totally fine. It's more than fine. I love it working like that. But it makes me uncertain. My grandfather could say, I will work at this job until I will go to the retirement. Thank you. I can't say that. And so I cannot even say what I will do in November. I don't know. And it's totally okay, but this is uncertain for me. And this is what I mean with...
I don't have a problem with your term, just to...
Okay. So this is what I mean with uncertainness.
Yeah.
Or uncertainness.
Uncertainty.
Uncertainty, thank you.
But
But I will answer to that because that bothers me. I think it's totally good, more than good what happens. But I think it empowers this uncertainty. Hinter dir, sorry.
Okay, yeah, I totally understand and I totally agree with you, just so everyone's... But I think the principles you proposing as a solution, as far as I understood, are just reinforcing it.
Yeah, but only as long everybody is... The problem is we are at the point... polemic?
Debate. Talk.
Okay, we are kind of at the point of nobody is certain of anything, because some people are certain and they speak up and they begin to crackle the society, the traditions and things like that. And lots of people, like my grandfather, who just lived by the rules he learned by his life, are now uncertain because he just don't know how to handle a world where people don't work 40 years at the same job, or people look like a male but feel like a woman, and how to handle this as a person coming from a whole other world with whole other traditional and cultural background. And I think for these people, you need everybody to follow, you need more people to follow these principles.
But we have a lot of hands there, and maybe you can...
Lots of hands.
I mean, yes.
Okay, so you said that something might have gotten lost in translation when regarding the term uncertainty. Please tell us the term in the original language in German, once and for all, please. What did you mean?
I have to think about.
Unsicherheit.
Unsicherheit, tatsächlich,
okay.
ja.
Das wollte ich wissen, danke.
Okay.
Okay.
That's not what it means. Okay, yeah, okay.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yeah.
The discussion about uncertainty, I don't know, I think language, if we try to put something into words, is limiting and it can lead to this kind of discussion. But my question would be, because we are talking about generation and about the mental frameworks in which our grandparents were brought up and they lived in. So do you think the social reality, their social reality, make them more certain than we are? Or they have their uncertainties which were different than ours?
Me personally think they were more certain than we are because of their limitations, because of they don't have another chance but to survive with a woman by their side, or to get married because everybody in this town gets married before you can get children. I think they were more certain, but based on, okay.
Because I feel like if we are talking about this uncertainty, we are talking about their system of value somehow. I mean, it's uncertain compared to that, but maybe our children won't have that because we'll
in the best
transmit
case,
something
yes.
else.
Yeah, totally. In the best case, yes. But hopefully not our children, hopefully we, but I think not in all countries of the world. I think not everybody in every country is like on the same level what freedom of sexuality or things like this is. Yeah. Okay, Lisa is falling asleep.
We have one question there, I think.
Yes.
So, first of all, I'd like to say that I'm really enjoying this kind of late-night philosophical talk, and I think everybody can agree to this. It's a really nice way to end the evening. Okay, so first of all, I'd like to make a statement, like a kind of an answer. You said you asked a question before, the lady. How can a person coming from a different age respond to the present uncertainties? And I think there are two main tools that we have. One is curiosity, but second one and the main one should be empathy. And I think that is what sometimes can really lack in interactions, and empathy, of course, leads to patience and, a general understanding. I have the feeling that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you're somehow framing all this uncertainty with a slight negative undertone, whereas I personally see it as a kind of freedom, in the sense you mentioned shopping and that the ability to return. But isn't it better now that we can actually return all those clothes that maybe we impulse bought them, and therefore they don't clutter our lives? Or, for example, you mentioned the divorce rate, but being married to a person for 50 years doesn't guarantee your happiness or a functional relationship. So
I'm totally fine with that. You're totally right. Yeah, it gives us freedom, it gives us lots of good things, yes. But where do you draw the line of a yes, but not really yes because I can send it back, and a real yes? You know what I mean? And this is my problem. I don't have a problem with all the possibilities and things we can do nowadays. Totally fine with that. But I have a problem with a maybe used too much, because we used to use maybe. We just say maybe all the time. And if we say yes, I have a feeling we don't really mean yes anymore. And I don't know how to draw the line between a real yes and a yes, but I can send it back.
Doesn't this stem out from the fact that maybe we don't fully understand ourselves? I mean, when you truly connect to yourself and your values, you're certain of what you want and who you are. And therefore, you turn with... Right now, yes. I can definitely commit to my relationship. I can definitely commit to my work. I can definitely commit to volunteering or whatever. But of course, this was a long and arduous process.
Okay, but you made this process, and I'm congratulate you that you're at this point. But yesterday we were on the city trip. We had like an architectural tour of Bucharest. I just talked to one of the interns of the Goethe Institute, and she was like, yeah, I'm here now for 3 months, and then I don't know what I want to do. And it's totally fine. But I think, who of you doesn't know what to do in their life? Okay, who of you doesn't know what you want to do with your lives? What you want to... Okay, so these at least are the people who are not as stable in their life as you right now. And it's totally cool, I'm totally fine with it, but I don't think everybody is at this point as you. So, yeah, I don't know if... Yeah, okay.
I don't want to continue the discussion here. I have a basic, simple question.
Yes.
What culture, what circle of society do you base your thesis on? Like, only the German society, or did you have a look around to other societies? I'm not sure. Because I got known to another circle of society, to another circle of culture, and there is saying maybe to an invitation to a party, totally okay. They don't get mad if you come, if you don't come, if they don't know about it. It's like,
but do they care?
They live in a kind of more relaxed way with the spontaneously about being maybe there or not. So, what culture do you base your thesis on?
Yeah,
the Germans,
primarily the Germans. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But the thing is, if I may ask, do they care if you come or not?
Partly. Basically, that's the funny thing. I'm talking about Scots.
Okay.
So when the Scottish people asked me if I come to the party, and I said, maybe, I'm not sure if I'm free and everything, they said, yeah, sure, totally fine, go ahead, whatever. And they were totally fine that I didn't come. They didn't get mad. And when a German asked me if I come to the party, and I said maybe, they would like get they would come back to me about, are you coming, are you not? So that's the thing I mean. Maybe it's about the cultures. Maybe there are cultures out there who are more strictly, who are saying definitely yes, no, who don't use the word maybe, who are, or cultures who are way more spontaneously about being uncertain in a way of not knowing if people are coming to define my meaning here. So that's the thing. Maybe it's not about the whole generation. Maybe it's about the cultural generation in different countries. I don't know. Maybe there's a way, or maybe not. And I'm stop saying maybe.
And still, I don't think it's a generation thing. I think it's a thing of our time now. It doesn't have anything to do with us in this generation. And okay, yeah, you're right. I based my thesis on the German one, so I can say it's a zeitgeist of Germany. Yes. Alex, do it.
It's happening. I got the microphone before my son. So okay, there are a couple of things. Number one is the conversation weird of. Well, first of all, I think this conversation is completely in the principles of what we discussed this morning, right? We are present. We try to see clearly. We are seeking tension. And we want to be intentional, right? That's the principles of designerly inquiry into the world. And we might want to build prototypes of how to do this. I actually live in the future of what you guys are discussing because I live on the West Coast and I teach in a school where every company's signature has pronouns, where we have changed and we have a dictionary where we removed all gender-specific language from our speech acts, from our documents, and it's basically, the community has already come together to basically act upon it, right, to create the stuff. That's not in your direction, because I think I know what you want to say. That's more in your direction. So I think when the conversation veered off from commitment, which I find is a very interesting discussion, because you said, so there's a lot of non-commitment, and you want to counter it with commitment, but kind of a soft commitment, with being committed to knowing that no commitment can really truly there forever, because conditions change. But kind of like having your natural state to therefore not be committed at all creates a lot of uncertainty in the context of growing freedom that we have, right? And the freedom is on many levels. Like, you know, where I now live is kids change their gender with 14 and change to another gender physically 2 years later because they can. And I don't want to discuss the implications of that, but the freedom of that everyone can express how they want, identity-wise, I think is a good thing and raises up new questions. But let's get back to the freedom on terms of buying things, shipping things back, changing your gender, changing it back. If you want to play it on sides, the interesting thing about this non-commitment seems to be the abundance of possibility within perceived freedom, which leads to the wonderful I don't know who made it. It's like the FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. So I want to keep my options open because I have an overwhelming abundance of it in terms I can be many genders, I can make up my new gender, I can buy many things, let's buy them all.
I can go to every party.
At every party, and this of course makes your life actually ultimately miserable.
Because you can't do anything but.
Yeah, and you lose actually a sense of identity, and you start continuously experimenting with it on many levels. Like, I mean, commerce or buying things is just part of it, right? So I find this idea also from this morning when we said like the in service to statement is actually a statement that expresses your purpose, your intention in the world, but it can always change if you use it as a way of self-discipline and on continuous self-reflection, because you grow older, you learn more, you do these things. And so I found it very interesting that both of us are actually said similar things from two different angles. So I just wanted to bring it back to that. And the advocacy for this is actually, you call it empathy, I usually call it openness and being generative and generous to be able to hold even the most kind of contradictory positions kind of in space. That's basically seeking constructive tension. And I think we're doing this here tonight, which makes me so excited that we're doing this.
See that, yeah.
And I mean, I see it brings up a lot of emotions, including myself. So it's good that we're doing this. So thank you for provoking this.
So just one more question. Okay.
Okay. I mean, if you want to respond to that, that would be fine.
No things to respond
I just want to say something, if you allow me. So there is another trend now regarding the joy of missing out. It's the JOMO, which is another word for people trying to disconnect. And the digital minimalism and social media abundance is actually producing some counteracts, especially within the millennials. I just had a talk yesterday with some high school students that actually were trying to understand the level of anxiety that Instagram and everything, and this fear of missing out, that when you go to the toilet, the world changes if you are not there. So people are starting to understand and the benefits. People, the privileged people that are more exposed to information. But there is the JOMO, which is the other side of the story. So counteracts will always exist, and this is why tension brings new horizons there. So please, son, now.
Yeah, I'm just son now.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk for a hot minute here. So I want to start out by saying that it's been pretty much a fact that an overabundance of choice creates anxiety from a sort of sensory overload. There's an excellent book on this by a Canadian psychologist whose name always escapes me, that's called The Art of Choosing. And it's especially in regards to marketing. She's a woman, she's blind, she's a person of color, all that's great book, really great book.
I will put the link on the event now as we speak.
And yes, so we know that there is a big uncertainty and insecurity in these times and in our generation. There's been lots of studies on this, like anyone can go and see it. I don't think it's necessarily because certain traditions have been sort of cast aside. In fact, I highly doubt it. I think one of the primary driving concerns, especially in adolescence, is a sort of preemptive or premature economic insecurity, which I find extremely troubling. It's extremely common in adolescence, and as those of you who have some sort of background in psychology probably know, this kind of obsession with economic insecurity, with like, oh God, oh, I'm going to end up poor, oh, I'm going to end up jobless, which, by the way, again, possibly induced by an overabundance of choice, possibly also due to the incredibly unstable labor market, the gig economy, all of that. It's also a symptom of depression. Just putting that out there. And you will have noticed that, especially in adolescents, are extremely at risk of developing mental disorders. And I think that the reason we've seen an uptake in this is because of the sort of, I want to say, endemic insecurity and uncertainty in our society, but I don't think it's because traditions have changed. I really think it stems from a deeply economic place. And I think that a really good sort of show for that is that we find, like we talked about Germany and the German culture, but I don't think that uncertainty is endemic only in the German culture, especially because we can find similar studies with relatively good numbers, not only from Germany, but we find them from France, from Italy, from Spain, from the UK, from the US, from Canada, from Mexico. So I think it's a problem that really sort of goes beyond cultural borders. Yeah, I mean, that's just my take on it, but I'm very convinced of it. I stand behind it. I'm committed to this take.
No. So no maybes. Thank you. There was a question there. Can I just pass the microphone there? Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
I would like to add two statements. One, it's regarding to the three pillars. Sorry, that you mentioned in the beginning. I would like to add the fourth one. That would be to increase our ability of saying no. And this ability, I think, we are able to learn only after we reach certain life experience. Some job maturity, some responsibilities like, I don't know, having children and so on. And it's important in parallel, so when we are learning to say no, we have to remain true to ourselves. And on what you're saying that our parents' generation or grandparents' generation were more certain, I think they were more certain because somebody else was taking the decisions in their place. Yeah. But my personal feeling also from younger generation today is that they are more certain on the path that they want to pursue and on the expertise that they want to gain. And this type of, I don't know, talent management skills was really lacking from our parents' generation. For example, I did not receive any guidance from my family on what type of talent do I have. Maybe, okay, they send me to do some sport or whatever, but we did not have too many mentors or too many, I don't know, teachers or relatives who are capable to see the good side in us. And I think this generation has different opportunities in this area, and there are many, many capable people who are able to identify the right talents.
Okay. So, any maybes or yes or no's? Oh, thank you.
Hi, my name is Natalia. I was born in the former Soviet Union, and I am a bit confused about the generation maybe when does it start, because I have the feeling that it started like 70 years ago, and for me and my personal experience, my parents, my grandparents, it was a continuous state of maybes, and so for me it's a bit weird to have this discussion, but I am happy I'm here. And my kind of question would be, since I lived for a while in Germany, and there is this pressure of the optimal choice to do in your life, with your life, and it's kind of contradictory with the heritage that I received from my country and my parents. And now I am still confused, and I would like to ask you, what's your personal experience? How do you cope with this pressure of optimal choices and this relaxation of the maybe culture? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for the question.
Okay, I answer this question as I understood it. I have the sheer luck of having parents not being able to do what they wanted to do. My father always wanted to be a musician, applied to a trumpet player, applied to the music school, and then his father died, and he had to earn the money for his mother, and then he married my mother, and all of his life he was the person to provide for the family. And I'm one of 4 children, and every one of us has this luck of having parents that were like, you want to be a writer? Okay, go for it. If it doesn't work, it's totally fine because you can learn something real after that. But first of all, you can follow this passion and try to make a living out of it. And actually, I'm making a living out of telling stories. And my siblings are not all, but most of them are on the same side as me. They are creative minds. All of them are creative minds, but 2 of them are living it in their job description. And all of us were like supported of our parents always to strive to that passion. So I didn't have that pressure of do the right choice and then stick to it. I had the freedom to do whatever you want and try it. And if you fail, it's totally fine. And this is, yeah, I was lucky in this way.
Okay, we take more questions. I don't know how we are on time. I know we need to finish, okay? So I'm, Ray, is that? Okay, I'm not certain about many things, but what I'm certain of is that I had a great night. I didn't imagine that so many, usually audiences are not so active. Women, men, all type of people, you are here. So, did you
ask
any of my prepared questions?
Okay.
No. No, that was great. Thank you. Great team. So the title, when I accepted this invitation, I didn't know who Fabian is, of course. You didn't read his book as well. So. Yeah. But I thought we were talking a lot about communication, because this is my cup of tea, actually. What is what I'm doing. And I have one last question, if you allow me, for Fabian. First of all, I'm very happy to meet you. We talked a little bit about our lives in the beginning of the talk. So how do you think that in this context that we all debated in, as you are a writer, and I think you look a little bit into how we communicate now, what do you think would help us to be better communicators of our yes, no's, and maybes? How do you think that conversation could be more clear? Do you have any last advice for this, to a more efficient communication, more true one, with the social media and all this shit going on?
Okay. I'm being eclectic right now, just pulling together my answer. First of all, listen to the people. Actually, I studied the art of speaking and rhetorics, and we had like all the rules of how to debate and how to do things like this. And the one thing our teacher said was, don't just wait until the other one is finished with the sentence and then say what you wanted to say the whole time, but listen. And I think this is really true, because everybody has their answers, their beliefs, and if somebody says this, I know I want to say that, but if I listen, maybe he just doesn't say this, but something else, and then I can answer to that. The other one is empathy or openness, call it whatever you want, but the capability that your truth is not the only truth, and your world view of the world is not the one. And I fail at this almost every day, but I'm keep trying, and I notice it, and I try again and again and again, fail harder. Yeah.
Great. So if there's any party tonight for you guys, now you have questions to think about it on the dance floor. So thank you very much for having us. Thank you, Fabian. It was a great meeting you.
Really
Thank
nice.
you.